Let's go to Newspoll today. Pretty bad numbers there for the government. The worst result since the last election, trailing Labor now 52-48 on a two-party preferred basis. They're the 2PP numbers. What would worry me the most, though, is this drop in primary vote into the 30s, 39 there now for the coalition, at the same level as Labor's 39, up 2 points from where they were at 37. For Labor, that's a very healthy primary vote. What did you make of it all? This would be worrying the government, wouldn't it, Dennis?
Oh, well, I should think so, and quite rightly so. I mean, people are suggesting, various commentators are saying Morrison has the next election won. Well, that's just ridiculous. I mean, he's got a minority government. Exactly, he's got a minority government now. He's likely to lose a seat in Western Australia and one, possibly two, in Victoria on redistribution. So there is every possibility that Scott Morrison would be going into the next election having to win 4 or 5 seats just to get a one-seat majority. To suggest that he's got it home and hosed is just nonsense. And I think these numbers demonstrate. I'm never too much concerned about the two-party preferred. I think you're right to look at the primary vote. And what's interesting here is that both the major parties are on 39. Now, there is a golden rule. If you don't get more than 40%, you can't win in your own right. Julia Gillard proved that when on 39, Labor could not win in its own right. The coalition actually needs more than 40 to win in its own right. So at the moment, I think the punters are saying we're not particularly keen on what's going on in Canberra generally. We're concerned about a whole range of issues and we're just parking our votes even-handedly. I think, interestingly, Scott Morrison didn't suffer a great deal. It was within the margin of error on satisfaction with his leadership, which is quite interesting. It means that as a COVID leader, just like Dan Andrews, Anastasia Palaszczuk, Mark McGowan, Andrew Barr, Gunner in the Northern Territory, he is benefiting from the fact that he's a leader during the pandemic and he's not being marked down for the chaotic scenes we've seen in the last few weeks surrounding the sexual assault allegations and so forth, but also the wider issues, the more issues, bread and butter issues of the end of JobKeeper. And these issues come through. It takes a while before the polls react. And it's a mistake to just think, oh, well, in the week before this has happened, therefore this is what this poll means. No, it's a wake-up call for the government.
Yeah, but a lot of spinners were trying to say that when the last fortnight's Newspoll was a bit healthier than this one. And of course, you make the point there about Labor, but of course Labor have very disciplined preference flows from the Green. 80-odd% of people who vote Green return a preference to Labor. It doesn't happen on the other side. There's less discipline in the preference flows coming from the centre-right. So that's got to be troubling for the government. And while the PM, I think, hasn't been marked down hard yet, one of the issues is his government has been, and every time the Prime Minister is dealing with all of these other issues, of course, he's taking away oxygen from stuff that people care about. They want him focused back on the issues that are, on the kitchen table for them at night, and not what seemed to be, until recent days at least, really Canberra obsessions. So we'll see what happens.